It's time for Cats Talk Wednesday. Small town and big city joined forces. Benny Hardy of Lynch, Kentucky, and Terry Brown of Louisville, Kentucky, team up to give you free-flowing, laid-back sports talk. Focus on Kentucky Wildcats, as well as pertinent information in the NBA, NFL, and Major League Baseball.
And there's TB from Louisville, and this is Vinny from Lynch. This is Cats Talk Wednesday, bringing y'all another episode. We was out of the loop last week, but we back this week. TB, man, how's everything going with you?
It's going good. I'm in my new digs. You see, I got all my posters up. I got AD watching over me, like every good Kentucky fan should have. So I'm doing good, man. I'm good to be here.
Oh man, good stuff, good stuff. We glad to be back. I was traveling last week. You was setting up all your digs last week. So
yeah, my work, you can work from home. I said, okay. I'm thinking after Labor Day, they're like, no, how about Thursday? I was like, oh, I gotta clean. Okay. So I was scrambling, but doing good, man. I'm all settled in. Got my media passes.
Plural media passes. Yes.
Yeah. This one is from that's Indianapolis March Madness, and I got over there is the softball championships. I get anyway, you know where I've been.
Yeah, so
you know who I am. Anyway.
They hit you with that curveball at work and you had to pivot, but you got it under control. Good stuff.
Yes, sir.
Look, man, we actually got games to talk about since we were on last. We was looking forward to stuff, and now we seen some games. You've seen a game.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about that Iowa game. That was something. But starting off with Kentucky, we saw what we wanted to see, right? Not necessarily sharpest in the first half, but locked it down the second half. 24-3 second half for a 37-13 win. Take it. I mean, I understand. And look, there's enough that we saw. There's stuff that has to be cleaned up, right? It was not a perfect game, but it's not a game where you can just extrapolate out what you saw and, I saw people, well, we can't do this against Georgia. Slow down. Georgia, not till Thanksgiving. We got some time, right? We got some time to get this together. Obviously, they've got to tighten up a little bit on the offensive line for Florida, but everything I saw and talking to people that know more than me, like our man Van Hiles, it's all correctable stuff. Like nothing I saw on Saturday had me believe, we're in trouble. No, you got to shore it up. I know we've got folks out, we've got some folks injured. That's the nature of the business.
True.
So, to me, Will Levis looked good. We've got to figure out how to run the ball. Kvassier Smoke leading in rushes with 7. I'm no Corey Price, but I'd have to imagine it's been a while since a Stoops coach team leading rusher only had 7. That's wild to me. So I don't know if it was scheming or play calling or what happened, but you'd have to imagine there's going to be more of a commitment to run down in Gainesville than we saw this past week. But
let Roman Harper tell it we soft now all of a sudden. So if they weren't fired up already about wanting to adjust, or maybe they're holding back, who knows? Maybe Scangarello ain't put all his cards out there. I think it's a combination of all that. Like you said, 3 guys in the NFL off of that offensive line, you plug in guys that, you can't get experience until you get experience. We're 44 years old. We don't have this experience at 19. You don't have experience till you get it. Same thing with these new linemen. They got some reps last week. Now you're going up against Florida in the swamp. Gonna get some more experience. And you mentioned V Styles. He did the cut ups. It looks like just a few little things were off where they
Mhm.
could have popped some bigger runs, could have done this just so it's not as crazy and bad as everybody wants to make it out to be, and that's usually never the case anyway.
Well, it's fine tuning. And
Mm-hmm.
you and I remember when Kentucky football was, we need a miracle. That's not where we are right now. You and I have seen plenty of week one games. I went to the Iowa game with a friend of the show, Adam Jacoby, and we're talking, and he didn't realize that it was against Western Kentucky. They supposed to be SEC. I remember those days. I
Yeah.
remember days before that
Mhm.
where 1-0 was not a guarantee.
I remember
So
y'all were talking about on round of shots with Kevin Hill and you and Van. Van talking about the 3-0 game in Indiana. I was there, sat through all 60 minutes of that. So,
yeah,
and I think that was the only win of the season. That was the 1 in 10 year, I think.
I can't remember. It was just that was the worst football game I ever sat through. I was there
Yeah,
because because wasn't it cold and rainy? Was it cold? I can't remember.
it was.
I just remember me and my friends, we left and came back. We went back to the dorms and came back, and they weren't even checking tickets. And I was like, oh, this that was the worst football game I'd ever been to before Saturday. We're gonna get to that one.
Yeah,
But the
my granddad
Cats,
was in the hospital. We went over and saw my granddad at UK hospital. He was in there. Went to visit him. Ran to the game and went back and just you just kept sitting there waiting, make a play. Somebody do something. I never even thought about what Van had said. I know their game plan, but what if they don't do the game plan and I give up a
right.
touch? That whole mind game that's going on as a defensive player, I hadn't even thought about that because they're predictable. They're going to do this. I already know they're going to do this. But as soon as you gamble and give up a touchdown, you know the game's over because our offense, I had never even thought about him
Yeah.
having that mental hold.
Yeah, that was what I saw on Saturday. But Kentucky, all the stuff, it's just fine tuning. It's correctable. Uh, I don't think Florida beating Utah. Um, I don't think it really changes anything. Going to Gainesville was always going to be a pivotal game.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
It changed a
I-
lot in the polls because Florida went from 37th in the country to 12th.
well, we always see this, right? Week one, is it Florida? Is Florida that good? Like, did we underrate Florida or did we overrate Utah or is it something in between? We don't know. You don't know after 1 week.
Mm-hmm.
Florida State over LSU, they're back allegedly because of the blocked extra point, but what does that mean for the whole season? And so you get to the point where what does it mean? So we all knew before the season started, we talked on this show, the Florida game was going to be important. You get Florida, right? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
the four biggest games to me: Florida, Tennessee, the Mississippi schools. You go 3-1, you can get to 10. Go 3-1 in those games, you can get to 10 regular season wins. Go 3-1 in those games, and that Georgia showdown becomes everything that you and I have talked about. You know, game day, SEC Nation, Feinbaum, it becomes that. Go 3-1. Well, the best way to get 3-1 is start 1-0.
Yep.
So going down to Gainesville, I didn't see Florida do anything that I thought Kentucky couldn't handle. And
Mm-hmm.
when I say I think Kentucky can go down to Florida and win, people, well, it's not going to be easy. That's not what I said. That is not what I said. I did not say we coming out there with a 3 touchdown win.
Right.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that they can scrap, they can claw, and we can come out there with a 7 point, 10 point win. And
They,
I would not be surprised because remember back in 2018 down in Gainesville, we kicked their butts.
mm-hmm.
So in my mind, the mystique of going down to Gainesville, not what it was. Is it tough to play? Absolutely. Is it what
Uh-huh.
it used to be? Not quite.
Not right now.
Because you and I remember for the longest time, Green Bay did not lose any games in the playoffs at home. You know, they had been undefeated from Bart Starr all the way through to Brett Favre.
Uh-huh.
And then Michael Vick did it. And now I think they're 500.
A dome team went up there. Atlanta, a dome squad went up there and beat them in the tundra.
You know who also won at Lambeau Field in the playoffs? Colin Kaepernick and Jimmy Garoppolo. So, but my point is, once the mystique is gone, uh, it's hard to get back,
And
right?
the TO catch wasn't that up there too in the playoffs?
That was at home. That was at Candlestick.
Oh, really? Okay, okay.
Yeah, the Owens. Yeah, that was in
Okay.
Candlestick.
Uh,
They try to call it the catch two, and okay, I'm not really no. Great
he, he
play. Don't get me wrong.
he dropped like 46 passes before that. So I mean,
Yeah, he had the dropsies early in his career, but
they
so
they
well that day he had a lot of drops that day too. Yes,
damn.
absolutely. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, but yeah, he did
But
recover.
but going down to Gainesville, always daunting, not quite what it was. Just like
Uh-huh.
going to Knoxville, always daunting, not what it was. So
Yeah.
I do think the Cats have a good chance to win. I think Florida's favorite by 5.
Hmm.
Last I saw, I don't know. I don't gamble, but I would not be surprised if Kentucky wins. It wouldn't
Yeah,
it wouldn't shock me.
did it last year too. You talk about scrap and claw. It's gonna be tough. That's what it was last year. It was what 2013, blocked a field goal, but Kentucky scrapped and clawed and came out on top. And they know they beat Florida. All the same dudes are there. They got a new coach who's probably. I mean, he got a good win, a big win, but it's still year one, game two for him. Uh, and Kentucky is not still with this mindset that we haven't beat Florida in my lifetime. That's over. One in the swamp, beat them last year. Know they can beat them. It's like you said, that whole mystique is gone. That whole it's impossible. It's not. That's not the case anymore.
Yeah. So
And then,
I think the Cats go down there and win.
yeah, yeah. So we gotta get to the game you went to, and also you already mentioned Jimmy G. I gotta ask about him too because he got that bag to be the backup. He got. We're gonna pay you. Don't think about get on the field, but you can have this money. So I gotta get your
It's a
thoughts
strange
on that.
it's a strange situation. It's a strange situation. But yeah, the game I went to the Iowa game with a friend of the show, Adam Jacoby. It was great. It was a good Big Ten tailgating atmosphere. Lots of corn, lots of pork products. Two things I was known for. They got corn growing in front of Kinnick Stadium, which is awesome,
Wow.
and a big Iowa corn harvester out there in front of the stadium. So um, it was great. We were on the end closest to the Children's Hospital. And let me just talk about that for a moment. You've seen the wave. They do the wave to the Children's Hospital that overlooks the football field between the first and second quarter. Not heard about it, and I was excited about doing it. And it's great. Everything stops. All the players, all the coaches, all the fans, everybody's waving. I was ready for that. What I was not ready for was looking in the windows and seeing the kids waving back. So you've got kids, and you can see them in their hospital gowns, and they've got IVs, and they got their
Mm,
signs, "Go Hawks," and it's great. It's
mm,
great. It's a great moment. Everything stops, and they get some of the kids talking on the jumbotron. I don't even know if they're jumbotrons, but the big video screen. And it's a really great moment. It's about a minute or so, and it's really really sweet. and it's great. That being said, that was the highlight of the game.
Mm-hmm.
7-3, no touchdowns. Iowa football makes me do math. Like, if I just told you they got to 7 points without a touchdown, you'd have to stop and think, okay, how? Right? Like, okay. So it
Mm-hmm.
was 5-3 in the fourth quarter, and I tweeted out, this is the most meh football game I have ever seen. 21 punts, Vinny.
Oh my God.
11 for South Dakota State, 10 for Iowa.
Mm.
But the Iowa punter, Adam Shirt, was punting is winning. The Iowa punter, all of those 10 punts, 7 inside the 20, 5 inside the 10-yard
Mm.
line. So,
Mm.
yeah, they had to have it. And you're talking about Van talking about the deep being on the defense, not wanting to give up a play, because that Iowa defense, they played well, but if you let one get behind you, your offense isn't going to do it. Um, so I
Man.
tweeted out, this is the most mad game I've ever seen, and I saw a lot of Kentucky fans. Well, it's Iowa. What do you expect? Well, why don't you pump your brakes?
Mm-hmm.
Because in the bowl game, the Kentucky did win, but uh, Wandale Robinson, had to go for a school record just to squeak out a 3-point win.
Mm-hmm.
So I see what you're saying, but we're not light years ahead, Kentucky fans of Iowa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
However, the thing that struck me, because people, what we're, how are the people in the stands doing? They know what Iowa football is, right? We talk about same old Kentucky football. Let me share this with you. All right. Since the 2000 season, FBS teams that averaged less than 2.8 yards per play and scored zero touchdowns have gone 3-371. So that's 3 wins, 371 losses. That's a .8 winning percentage, 0.8% winning percentage. And you're like, okay, that sounds pretty crazy. Iowa owns 2 of those wins. Iowa is 2-1 in those conditions. So they have won 66% of those games. The rest of college football has won 0.3% of those games. So when Iowa fans tell you, hey, it is what it is, they literally don't. Keep in mind, the other win was against Penn State. Iowa won 6-4 in 2004. Football. So I can't remember if I've ever seen a safety at a game I've ever been to. Probably, but I can't remember. But two,
How did it was it 2 sacks or they stuffed the running back in the end zone on
the one was a sack and one was a running back couldn't get out because I mean
like,
the punter was they were getting the ball inside the 5,
mm-hmm.
and so the defense was able to capitalize on it that way.
Yeah.
But without that punter, if San Diego State gets a little bit of field position and Iowa just can't, kind of send the house.
And you said the punter 11 punts for South Dakota State, 10 for Iowa. I was punter with 7 inside the 20, 5 inside the 10. So
Yeah,
that meant Iowa's offense had good field position all day.
all day, all day.
And they still couldn't do it. Oh my.
Yeah, and so they got a really short field after San Diego State shanked a punt. It was like a 20-something yard punt. They
Mm.
start at the San Diego State like 40, and they're driving. They get to the 11 and fumble the ball. So the takeaway is this: the Iowa offense is dreadful. It's worse than it was last year, and last year it was almost dead last.
Yeah. Man.
So what does this have to do with Kentucky show? Well, where Mark Stoops played his college ball.
Mm-hmm.
at the University of Iowa.
Yep.
So I'm talking to Adam on the way in, and he's basically like, look, Ferentz, they love him, but his son is the offensive coordinator. There was talk of he got to get rid of his son after last season. Well, no, now they supposedly have revamped everything. And this is what they got. So it could very well be a situation where you got to fire his son or they both need to go.
Mm-hmm.
So the chatter is post-game, the chatter is, well, Iowa football has an alum that has turned around a pretty bad program.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm talking to people tailgating from Kentucky, oh, Stoops, we like what Stoops is doing. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. All I'm saying is either this year or next year, if Ferentz is gone,
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying I was probably going to make Mark Stoops tell them no. I don't think he would look anywhere else. But Iowa might be the one place if Iowa came calling.
Yeah.
But that being said, the I don't know if I'm going to go back to another Iowa game because they've got Michigan coming to town. I don't want to sit there through that because we only got a couple more weeks before it's going to be cold here.
Mm-hmm.
Because I got invited to the Iowa-Nebraska game Thanksgiving week. I don't know if I want to be sitting out here in the Iowa winter to watch Iowa and Nebraska play football.
And speaking of Nebraska, can we backtrack to them in week one with Scott Frost? They was taking care of business against Northwestern and we're up 28-17, and you kick an onside kick. And it all went downhill for him after that.
Yeah, he had people throwing up, which is always dumb.
Yes.
Like you ain't got to lie. If you've got 15 people throwing up every practice, that's bad. We're beyond the junction boys. Because vomiting, that's a sign of distress. That's dumb. So what are you doing this for? We got people throwing up. No, you don't. You don't. Why you're trying to sound tough. Nebraska, absolutely, positively, is bad. It's like we talked about when folks think that Cal has an easy job. Oh, you win at Kentucky. Oh, Kentucky basketball, born on third base. Blah, blah. Look, man, there are a lot of programs that were not just good but great in our younger days that have not been great since those younger days.
Mm-hmm.
Nebraska hasn't been the same since they got waxed by that all-pro Miami team in that championship game. I don't fault them for that, by the way. When your running backs are Gore, Clinton Portis, and Willis McGahee, that's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever get bored one day, just go look at the 0-1 Miami Hurricanes roster and just be like, my goodness, my goodness. Anyway, but Nebraska hasn't been the same since. And I thought Scott Frost was a misfire. That that kind of situation may be what would give Stoops pause to go to Iowa because homecomings are hard.
Yeah, that's true. And the
and
guys
you rarely see it work out.
Yeah. Solich and those dudes was winning 9 games. I mean, that's still not what Osborne was doing, but that's better than what Frost has been doing. He's been there 5 years now, and still.
Frank Solich went 9-3, and they fired him.
Yeah,
and they haven't lost fewer than 3 games in the season since.
Mm-hmm.
Bo Pelini had some good, I think they made a Big 12 championship game or something, but that's not Nebraska being Nebraska.
No,
it's been a long time since Nebraska mattered.
Yeah.
And the same way it's been a long time since Tennessee mattered.
Yep.
Your neck of the woods, if you've got to fall back, We own Kentucky at football. Okay, you stop mattering, Tennessee. You stop mattering.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, you've lost the argument that you matter.
Yo,
So I don't know what happens with Nebraska, but when they play for the big corn, whatever they play for, I don't know what. I assume it's a bucket of corn. I don't know.
yeah, yeah.
Iowa State's this weekend, and none of the Iowa fans are excited about it.
Where's it at this year?
It's at Iowa. It's at Iowa City.
All right. Hey, we got to talk about too. Your cousin Barry and Brown,
Oh, what can
freshman,
Brown do for you, man? Ran
special
that kickoff back.
special team
Woo!
a week. When the first half was kind of, he was the spark that got stuff rolling.
That's right, man.
Special teams did work. You had his return. They blocked the punt. Ruffalo hit from 50 plus when his leg strength was supposedly an issue for him. So Kentucky special teams, they brought it in all aspects of the game. But your cousin Barry and Brown in his first game now, we gotta, give it up to fam. Give it up for the fam.
Got to give it up. I haven't seen a Brown with moves like that since I was there.
That's what I figured. That's what I figured. So he brought it back.
I haven't
Man.
seen Brown with moves like that, man. So outstanding play, and that's the thing. And people, well, if it wasn't for the play, come on, you can't. If it wasn't for the run back, look, you can do that literally with anything.
Yeah.
You can if Michael Jordan won the Bulls, they wouldn't won. Like you can do that, but just like against Florida. Well, they had to get a block, a kick. You do whatever it takes to win the game. Get a lot of Packers fans. Jimmy G didn't even score a touchdown. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes, man. That's all I care about is did you win the game?
If Florida State don't block the extra point, LSU might win in overtime. Well, they blocked it.
And how poetic for Florida State to get that after all the wide rights, wide left. I had to bring the misses up to speed when we watched that. Was you look at all that stuff and I just I remember when Florida State Miami was the game and all that. So college football's back.
If you were LSU, would you have gone for two or would you have kicked it at the end? You should have been getting run out of the stadium, and you miraculously have a chance for overtime because Florida State fumbled fixing to score to put the game away. You drive 99 yards and scores 24-23. Is Coach Terry Brown going for two, or are you just going to kick it and say we got the momentum going in overtime?
I kick it because you do have that momentum. You've got to kick it and extend the game. But it was a fluke. It was a fluke play, and again, I don't know how much you can read into that. Florida State, we're back. Kinda. Like maybe I don't know. It's very much like what does it mean when you say you're back? Like you remember the Cal's first year, the John Wall, the Marcus Cousins team. Like it felt like we were back in the offseason. Like, oh, we got these dudes. It felt like we're back. John Wall hit that buzzer beater against Miami of Ohio. Okay, that's great, but are we back? Well, then we start waxing folks. You beat North Carolina, you beat Indiana, you beat Louisville. Then it's like, okay.
They beat UConn too.
Yeah. You beat UConn. Probably the last time we beat UConn. But I don't know. You beat you, and then you start feeling okay. We are back, right? Like this is Kentucky basketball. This is what we're supposed to do. And then you have that Elite Eight is a deep tournament run, right? So you do that. So one game on a fluke play, yes, you won. Feel good about the win, Florida State. But back, I don't know if I would go that far. And if you're LSU,
you're playing an LSU team with Brian Kelly's first game. It was a dumpster fire last year. Yeah, I mean, if you beat Arkansas or God forbid Alabama or a Georgia, then say you're back. But this is the LSU that's probably going to be down at the bottom of the West. You know, they're going to take some lumps this year. So you beat an SEC team, yes, but you probably didn't beat a cream of the crop SEC team.
Right, right. And you know, you have to keep that in perspective. Like, I think when you were at the game when Kentucky finally beat Tennessee after 80 years or whatever it felt like. Yeah, was that a vintage Tennessee team? No, we're not beating T. Martin. We're not beating Peyton Manning. We're not even beating Heath Schuler, right? Like, but you take it. But that,
Absolutely.
but you have to keep it in perspective. Like, yes, we ended this streak, but that it doesn't really translate.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know, all these teams, okay, that beat Kentucky basketball during the 9 and 16 year. Yeah, you did beat Kentucky,
Mm-hmm.
but come on now.
Yeah. It's like when last time Kentucky beat Alabama back when 97 when we were college age.
Yeah,
And that Alabama team, I think, went 4-7. That didn't stop us from tearing the goalpost down. But
right,
it wasn't the Nick Saban Bama squad.
right,
Hey, we can't control what they did after that, but we
right,
enjoyed
right.
that.
But you can't say that you're Florida State that you're back
No.
because what and we have to keep in perspective the great run Florida State had.
Mm-hmm.
Like 25 straight seasons finishing in the top 5. That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
That is
That's what
ridiculously consistent.
that's what I was telling Micah, my oldest, because he's of course he believes blue, but if he had to pick a second team, it's probably maybe Clemson. He kind of likes to keep up with them. Well, back when Kentucky was god awful and winning one game, Florida State was kind of that good team I rooted for, and I took my lumps as a Kentucky fan. I licked my wounds after every loss, but the good team I kind of rooted for back then was Florida State. I was telling him, I was like, Florida State back then is kind of what Clemson is in the ACC now. I mean, and they did it for a longer period of time.
Yeah.
Always top. And he was like, "Oh wow," because he was like, "Man, Florida State, they ain't nothing." I was like, yeah, not now, but
But they had that run, right?
yeah,
And Heisman Trophy winners and just when we were in high school, Florida State was the coolest program in the country.
mm-hmm.
Like, okay, like Miami, great. Okay, Miami and the U. Okay, but Florida State just seemed really, really cool. You
Yeah,
had Dion, you had Derek Brooks, you
mm-hmm.
had
Work done.
yeah, and Charlie Ward was the coolest looking
Yeah.
quarterback. Like, I, Florida State was just different, and I know that the chop has kind
But
of faded.
but
Yeah, but the chop and just all that Florida State was just cool, man.
mm-hmm.
And so, like, we knew who the Florida State quarterback was. It was even a Chris Rex or Thad Busby or 85-year-old Chris Winkie. Like, we knew those dudes. They had Rock Preston. They had dudes that just,
Mm-hmm.
uh, again, it's hard to do. It really is hard to do. So,
Nope.
um, but football is back. I'm glad Notre Dame lost to Ohio State. Notre Dame's still going to get in the playoffs. They're going to beat the service academies and Duquesne or whoever else. And then people were like, the Irish are back. And then, they'll get close to the playoff and they get waxed again. And we'll see what happens next year. Okay, look, I need Notre Dame to beat somebody at this
Yeah,
point.
that's true.
Not play tough, not because that ain't Notre Dame, man. That's not what you tell me about Notre Dame. You tell me
Mm-hmm.
Notre Dame is going to win it, and they don't. They come close, but they don't win.
I gotta check out that Manti Te'o doc on Netflix too. I got to see what that's talking about. I ain't watched it yet, but gotta pop that in there and see what's going on with that. Speaking of NFL too, you already mentioned it. His name's already come up. Your boy Jimmy G. Y'all paid him. He's gonna be there. He's not getting traded, and y'all gave him more money. But it's Trey Lance's team. So does that cover everything?
It's an untenable situation. I don't know how it's. And it stinks because this team, as I've said before, is poised to make some noise. You know, whoever the quarterback is, if we get a slight upgrade at the quarterback position, we go to the Super Bowl last year. It's just that simple.
Yeah.
And the NFC, nothing changed the NFC to make me think that getting back to the Super Bowl is not like it's not going to happen, right? There's nothing that happens. And again, I'm not knocking you, but going to Dallas does not scare me. Going to Lambeau Field does not scare me. Going to SoFi in the Rams doesn't
Yeah.
scare me.
Mhm.
Going to whoever else might be good in the NFC, I don't know off the top of my head, New Orleans or whoever,
Mhm.
Tampa Bay. But you've got to figure out the quarterback thing because I would say that way back when, I think the 49ers, we squandered a Super Bowl opportunity making the transition from Montana to Young.
Mm. Mhm.
It was 90. See, we won in 94. Was it 91, 92? There was this situation. Oh, we've got two quarterbacks. And that was two Hall of Fame quarterbacks, right? Like you can't really go wrong in that instance. So I don't know how it's going to look moving forward. I'm more concerned. George Kittle did something to his hamstring,
Oh Lord.
so they don't know how he's going to be getting ready for the Bears on Sunday. So
Ooh.
it's yikes all the way around. I'm
Mm.
still optimistic, but they got to figure this out, man. You need one quarterback, and I like Jimmy G as a person, but I think at some point you had to move on of him, and then you give him all this money.
Yeah.
That to me, yeah. So I don't know, and
That
and
was
and
tough.
Trey did not get voted as one of the captains. That's become a thing. Like
Mhm.
there's a
So
lot
yeah,
going on.
it was a head scratcher to me when they paid him. I thought sure they were gonna trade him, even though they don't have any leverage in the trade. Nobody's gonna give them what they would think would be value because like this
Right.
dude. But I'm at this point, if you're San Francisco, like you just got to eat it and just do what you got to do. I thought, but they were gonna keep him, make him the highest paid backup unless Baker Mayfield gets benched or something.
But the good news is this: most of the stars on the roster right now for San Francisco are later round draft picks. Kittle, I think Debo was a second round, maybe third. I can't remember. But a lot, Fred Warner, a lot of the. So we've been drafting really, really well.
That's true.
So because you draft well, you can almost whiff on, a big cap hit because you can't draft poorly and pay money to somebody that's not going to play. You can't do
Mm,
both of those things. But if you draft really well, which we have done over the last few years, I mean, Kittle was a fifth round draft pick, dude. Like,
that's crazy.
yeah. So a lot of the stars, I just saw that, I'm in 49er Twitter sphere, and it's like, yeah, we trust the front office to draft, but the Jimmy G stuff is a head scratcher. So,
Okay, if it's perplexing y'all, then yeah,
yeah.
no, no, perplexing everybody else. Uh, I got one more quick question before we wrap it up too. With the legendary Mama B, your lovely mom is up there, like you said.
She is.
I just want to know if what's the tally going to be on the stuff she makes for Kate and not for you. I'm not making this for you. I'm making this for Kate.
We'll see. I don't know what's going on in the kitchen right now. I don't know what's going on when I go up there.
These
But
brownies ain't for you. This
yeah,
brownies,
yeah,
this
I have
German
a
chocolate cake ain't for you. This German chocolate
yes,
cake is for Kate.
yes, I have a feeling it's going to be that way. I tell you, she's hanging out with my dog more than me.
Yes.
Sent me down to the basement. But
Mm-hmm. So yeah.
but to wrap it all up, we doing good here. Cats gonna win on Saturday, 2-0. We're gonna go down to Gainesville, win. You know what? if I'm an Iowa fan, let's get 3 safeties and a field goal. Let's just throw it out there.
That's right.
Maybe even get an extra point without a touchdown.
3 safeties and a field goal. That'd be 9 points. You already about the math. That'd be 9 points. 3 safeties and a wow.
Well,
hey, never know.
When they played Nebraska last year, they got to 22, 23 points without an offensive touchdown. They had 2 safeties, a defensive touchdown, and like 4 or 5 field goals. Like
I forgot about that.
When you look at the box score, it looks like baseball. 2 and 3 and 2 and 3. Like, what is going on? Man, I didn't know math. I don't know if math was going to be involved. But the Iowa fans are like, yeah, this is kind of what we do, man. They were just like, well, we got a punter. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
That dude's leg is still on ice. You better.
Yeah. Yeah, they got a great weapon. They don't want to wear him out. You cannot have your dude out there 10 punts a game. You can't do that. That's
he gonna blow his quad out. That's it. You gotta do some rest.
It reminded me of that dig that Steve Spurrier had against us a few years ago about Kentucky. They got a heck of a punter. Well, Iowa does have a heck of a punter, and that's it. That's it.
Unbelievable. Well, I'm glad you got to see. That was your first time anywhere near the stadium, right? Or first time on a game day at Kinnick?
Yes. Yeah, because we went to Carver Hawkeye, which is right there, to watch Caitlin Clark play basketball. We're going to try to do a Iowa wrestling match beat sometime because they get their own facility on campus. We talk about basketball, football. They put up wrestling is getting its own place. So they take it seriously here. But, man, we doing good. You tell everybody I said hello.
Will do, man. And we got us a quick one in. Appreciate you, Tim on B, that we said hey. And
absolutely
enjoy your visit. And we'll enjoy these games. And we'll hop on off of here and get it in, man. I play this outro music. My Kate just stepped in. She says hey as well. So y'all be good.
All right. Hey.
Look here.
We got our
we gotta have a bath.
Got a little great nephew with us.
This is my grandbaby.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Look at that.
Hey, what's up?
Say it's bath time.
All right.
Will
Benny, take it easy. Do the outro. We good, baby.
Yes, sir. Here we go. Catch y'all next week. Appreciate everybody who will listen and who will watch on the Roku and Anchor and everywhere else. Y'all be good. We'll see you next week.